Dr. Naik had been to We the People show with Barkadat and Shah Rukh Khan, I just bombarded it on the internet like anything. I had a SMS group, Facebook, fan pages and all, and I bombarded it like anything. I know a guy from Pakistan, his name is Farid Ahmed. He told me that, are you sure Dr. Naik is going to come on NDTV? Because I've sent lakhs of messages on Pakistan so that people will be watching it. So I said, yeah, this is why I've got to know, and there is surety. But after watching this program, it was like, oh my God, why Dr. Zakir Naik even accepted it? Like, in the whole 1 hour program, just for 2-3 minutes. Though, Alhamdulillah, Dr. Zakir Naik made a point and did pass on the message. Like, the last message was given, the Muslims should know how to reply in the media. Alhamdulillah. He made a point, and I feel like people will keep hunting him. Like, on internet, on YouTube, here and there. Alhamdulillah, I feel Allah is the best planner, and inshallah, it will definitely benefit us. And Jazakallah for this program. Inshallah, I hope this will clear many questions which arise on the lakhs and millions of people around the world. Jazakallah.
Jazakallah, brother. Any last comment here before I put forward some questions to Dr. Zakir? Yes, brother.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Aman. I saw the entire program from A to Z, and the whole program was a total mess. I feel Barkadat was not able to handle it well, and according to me, the emptiest vessel made the most noise, especially that person, what's his name is? Kabir. Unknown person, never heard of him. Who and under what authority he came to speak on Islam? Thank you.
Jazakallah, brothers, for your kind comments. Now I think we have some comments and responses from Dr. Zakir to some of the queries raised here, as well as some of the questions. So many hundreds and hundreds of questions we received. What I thought would be the right format is to club some of the questions on the same theme and on the same context together, 5 or 6 questions. And I'm sure Dr. Zakir was the kind of memory as he'll remember all of them and try to do justice to them. I read out some of the questions we received, either on the website, sometimes on the NDTV website, some on the Facebook, and some by email received the IRF itself. Harun Ahsan, he asks, Dr. Zakir, I am very much disappointed. You should not have attended such a show. Sayyid Usaid Ahmad Rezvi, he says, I really like a sentence for Dr. Zakir in that program, irrespective of what happened. He says, there is nothing like moderate Muslim or full Muslim. It is just practicing or not practicing Muslims. But I still think Dr. Naik shouldn't have attended this. We have Brother Abrar Khan who says, Assalamu alaikum. I didn't understand why the hell Mr. Naik visited the show conducted by few, I can't say that word, dash holes, where he was not allowed to speak and where image of Islam has been liberalized and put with wrong picture. Does a person with full of knowledge should attend that kind of programs or functions? Then there is Abrar Khan. He says, Wassalam. I too personally respect Mr. Naik a lot and I praise him all the time. But what he done was a very embarrassing decision. And lastly, I'd put forward this question of Brother Fayyaz War. He says, I also agree. Dr. Zakir shouldn't have dialogue with Barkha. She knows nothing of economy, religion, statesmanship, culture. I was upset to see some people have just superficial knowledge of Islam and world, and they just say rubbish like SRK and Sohali. It was partly publicity stunt for my name is Khan. Ubaid Muhammad, I am wondering how Dr. Zakir Naik, sir, accepted invitation for this show. I request, sir, not to attend such programs. So we directly throw all these suggestions, questions, the perspective of the many audiences who look up to Dr. Zakir himself. I think he is the best person to answer them, not we all. So let's get over to Dr. Zakir himself. Yes, Dr. Zakir, feel free to comment on whatever has been spoken till now.
This question, why did I attend this talk show, We the People, on NDTV? This has been asked to me a few hundred times in the past 2 weeks, personally, on email, on telephone, from people in Bombay, from people in different parts of India, from people in different parts of the world. And many people told me, those who know me personally, that after the show you had with Farooq Sheikh, after seeing The Deceit, how did you attend this show? And after the show that I attended with Farooq Sheikh on Mard, though I don't blame him, I blame the producer, I always had a condition. As I mentioned earlier, I received a few hundred invitations in the past couple of years. A few hundred, maybe 1,000, from different channels in India, asking me to attend TV talk shows, panel discussions, chat shows. And I put the condition that it should either be live and unedited, or let us have our own camera crew of at least 6 to 7 cameras to shoot the talk show, so that if you edit something, we'll show it live on our channel. And when the first time I received the invitation for the talk show on NDTV We the People, I wasn't there in the country, so it was refused. When they again approached, then I put the condition that we want to have our cameras on the talk show, and it was agreed by the coordinator who was coordinating and calling me for the show. So my manager, Maqbool, he said, if you allow us to have our cameras on the talk show, then Dr. Naik will come. And he said, that won't be a problem. He readily agreed. So I said, no problem. If they do some editing, then surely we can add the unedited version on the other channels. So that was the reason that I decided to attend this talk show. But unfortunately, just one day before the talk show, the coordinator told me that, Mr. Zakir, you know, we're having the program in Taj Lands, and when I spoke to him personally, and the place is so small, we're already having our 6 cameras, and you being a man of media, you know how difficult it is to accommodate more cameras. I knew this is just an excuse. I'm a man of media. In that Taj Land, I can accommodate more than 12 cameras. This place is smaller than Taj Lands, and here we have 9 cameras. Taj Lands, 5-star hotel, is multiple times bigger than this. When here we can have 9 cameras, why can't we have it there? So I knew it was just an excuse, but then I asked a condition, that will you give me an unedited version of the complete show on a digital Betacam format, or DV cam, whichever you're shooting on. I'm not aware whether NDTV shoots on digital Betacam or DV cam, but we normally shoot only on digital Betacam or something better. So he told me, yes, Dr. Zakir Naik, that I can do. I'll give you an unedited version immediately after the show, which is of broadcast quality, and with this condition, I attended the show. But alas, when I inquired with other people, when the show got over, and when we asked for the unedited version, they said, okay, we'll give it to you very shortly, you know, maybe after it's telecast. We said, fine, that's fine, after telecast, so that we don't utilize the material. Then after the show was telecast, when my manager inquired for the copy, they gave after several days, that also on DVD. And it wasn't an unedited version, it was the same edited version which was shown on the television. What is the use of giving that? We already have recorded that. And initially when I attended the program, people told me that Barkadat, you know, she's very challenging, she's outspoken, and she has a ways in trying to make a person say what she wants to say. But I said, no problem, since the show will be unedited with me, there's not a problem. And with that intention, I went for the show. And though I know that she did give me less time, initially the coordinator asked me to come on the show. I asked how many people are there. So he told me there is Shah Rukh Khan, Karan Johar, Alik Padamsi, and he said Maulana Madni from Kerala. So I said, Maulana Madni from Kerala? I don't know any Maulana Madni from Kerala. I said, I want to know the full name. Then he said, no, I'm sorry. It is Maulana Mahmood Madni from Delhi. Oh, I know the person, mashallah, he's a close friend of mine. So I said, fine, since there are 4 panelists and I'm the 5th one, seeing the situation, the more the number of panelists, the less chance a person gets, even if it's divided. But unfortunately, when I went on the show, I saw there were additional 3. Besides the 4 he mentioned, there was Najib Jung. I met him for the first time. The Vice Chancellor of Jamia Millia from Delhi. And Kabir, who I was told is a film producer or film director, I'm not sure. And Soh Ali Khan. So 3 additional panelists, so it became 8. But when I went on the show, I realized that even the time that is given to me, if we feel divided, it will be less. But though the show, according to me, I was given less time, but in spite of the other things, I said, fine, at least I made a few points. And even if these are shown, there will not be a problem. But when I saw the show 1 week later on, I was shocked. I was utterly shocked that my answers were edited. And especially those answers which were critical and would put me on the wrong side. That's the time I said that the intention of the producer of the program and the intention of the moderator has to be verified. Because the answer that I gave on Osama bin Laden, most of the people who see me on the television, they know it very well. I don't want to repeat the answer. But when I mentioned that irrespective, whoever has done the 9/11 attack, whether it's George Bush or Osama bin Laden, whether Muslim or non-Muslim, whoever has done it should be condemned. That part was edited. So when you edit a major portion of it, the act has to be condemned. If you don't know the person, you cannot blame a person without proof. So I condemn the act irrespective of whoever did it. So when that part is edited, it shows as though I'm a supporter of Osama bin Laden. I'm neither a supporter, neither I'm against him because I don't know. And as brother rightly said, when I'm telling I don't know because I cannot base my view on BBC and CNN, Barkada says, come on, Dr. Zakir, as though I'm telling a lie. Same thing Karan Johar says, that he got angry at about 6 non-Muslims, 3 of them who are investment bankers, 2 of them Oxford University graduates, when they speak against Muslims, and he said, how can you blame the whole community just on news, got on New York Times and news channel? She says, yeah. So this shows the double standards, and rightly brother said, that when she's agreeing with Karan Johar who says, you cannot base your views on New York Times and news channels, and when I say I cannot base my views of Osama bin Laden based on BBC and CNN, she immediately interjects, and she's cutting me down. So this shows the intention that the moderator was biased. She was not truthful. So that's the reason the whole show, what I thought at least that make my point, I did not expect her to be so unjust, and the producer, that they cut my answers. And they did not do it once, they did several times.
We'll see you again, inshallah, after a short break. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Let's get back to the discussion, TV talk shows and analysis.
One more answer when I gave when Najib Jung, when he said something, and I said that counseling is allowed, and I said that if a person doesn't have drug, and I tell him don't have drug, then the person will agree with me. This part they should. But when I said later on that I being a doctor, if I am a doctor and I give advice to a patient because that person considers me to be an expert in the field of medicine, then people agree with me. When someone considers me to have knowledge on Quran, but when I give the advice on Quran, they don't follow. So this portion of doctor's analogy was edited. So why do they edit? So this shows that to attend a talk show, you may be an expert, but if the intentions of the moderator and the producer are not right, even the best person to appear on a talk show, he can be showed on the other side. He can be showed in the negative way. Because as I said, you can edit, you can cut. Therefore, the best is to go on a live talk show, which is aired without editing, or you have a moderator and a producer of the show who are not biased and truthful and honest. Like example, the NDTV interview done by Zakir Gupta. I really admire the person. He may have disagreed with some of my views, but he was honest. So looking back at it, because we put the conditions, I went on the show. And when I put these conditions to many other channels, they refuse, saying we will not allow. But NDTV, at least this show, we the people, I think they went a step further by saying we agree, and one day before disagreeing, and promising us to give an unedited version, which they have not given. So I feel the intention, what I thought, I trust in NDTV. As a whole, I don't blame them, because the earlier program they had of mine was fantastic. But this maybe the producer is different, and the moderator is different. They aren't the same as Zakir Gupta. So, but looking back again, when I saw the show, I was initially very disgusted that I should not have gone on the show. Later on, I told my staff, at least take my portion, and let me see how much I've spoken. So one of my staff, he took out all the portion, and it was 6.5 minutes. 6.5 minutes! I was happy. But then I realized in that 6.5 minutes, 2.5 to 3 minutes was spoken by Barkhadat. I spoke for only 207 seconds. I did a calculation, coming to less than 3.5 minutes. And this is what I felt. But when I saw the portion of my portion only, even if they've edited it, yet, as Allah says in the Quran in Surah Isra, chapter 17, verse number 81, وَقُلْ جَاءَ الْحَقُّ وَزَاقَ الْبَاطِلِ إِنَّ الْبَاطِلَ كَانَ زَهُوقًا. When truth is hurled against falsehood, falsehood perishes. For falsehood is by its nature bound to perish. When I saw the emails, and I read the emails that came on comments on NDTV by Muslims and non-Muslims, I was shocked. Believe me, I was shocked. Out of the emails I read, 2/3 were either telling that Dr. Zakir Naik did not get enough time, either they're speaking against Barkhadat. That means on the positive side, that they could see through, maybe because they know my answers or they're aware of my speeches. So I was happy that 2/3 of them, the emails that I read, because maybe they've seen these people, maybe my fans or whatever it is, or they've seen me, the non-Muslims, the Muslims. That is the reason they did not appreciate the way it was conducted. Out of the balance 1/3, half of them were neutral, half of them were critical, saying that, see, Zakir here, he didn't get a chance, so they're happy about it. But overall, I feel, even what they have done, as Imran rightly said, the message, the major point for put across, what is the definition of a Muslim? There's nothing like moderate Muslim, either practicing, partially practicing, or non-practicing Muslim. So these points about the various things that are spoken in the media, at least I made a point, and those who were intelligent got it. So alhamdulillah, irrespective of what happened, I feel whatever happens, happens for good, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the best to make his message spread.
And Jazakallah khair, Dr. Zakir, for your elucidative comments on what all we received by email and the comments from our brothers here. We continue on with this discussion on TV talk shows and analysis. I present some more of the emails and website comments we have received. There's one brother, Zahid Malik. He says, NDTV wasted precious time of Dr. Zakir. There is Waqas Sheikh Muhammad who says, Dr. Zakir Naik had too much patience. I would have said directly to the host that you did not give me enough time to speak in front of everyone.
As far as that comment is concerned, that you did not give me enough time to speak, has been told to be many of my friends said, that Dr. Naik, you should have said on the show that please don't edit this. You should have said on the show. And you have not given me enough time.
But maybe that would have been edited too.
That's correct. So that's what I said, that if I would have said that, that means I'm falling in the trap. Because I know the media, so that person being a no-wise, many of my friends, they told me, you should have openly said in the show that don't edit this portion and give me enough time. So what they would have done, they would have showed that portion, that don't edit this portion and give me enough time, and yet edited the other portion. So it would have looked that they are very honest. They are even showing that portion where I mentioned don't edit, though editing other parts. And even showing that portion, give me enough time. So what we realized that, me being a man of the media, I did not fall into the trap. I didn't make that comment. But these people may not be knowing how editing can be done in the post-production. That's the reason I do appreciate the comment. But I, being a man of the media, I avoid falling into the trap which they have laid.
We continue with the comments. The next brother, Brother Muhammad Iqbal says, why don't you call only Zakir Naik Bhai to know about Islam? He will let you know everything, whatever you all want. This is my challenge. Inshallah, he'll answer all your questions with authentic sources. So let's see what NDTV do next. There's Sister Tahira Sarwar who says, you people just wasted Dr. Zakir Naik's precious time. I think a similar kind of comments we received from many of the websites and emails. Then Adil Ayub says, that was expected. Filmmakers, government-employed clergies were trying to explain their own Islam, while as Dr. Naik was totally sidelined. That was quite clearly a drama which was manipulated professionally by Barkhadat. Then we have Abdullah Baisa who says, Brother Zakir is a wise person that he attended and he was smiling all the time. May Allah protect him and give hidayah to others.
Ameen.
We have brother Mushafiq Sultan. He says, this program was a campaign against modesty and a campaign for immodesty and rebellion against religion. A useless program. They bought Dr. Naik to increase their viewership and they all joined to pounce on him. Sayyid Ahmad says, don't judge on what you see. How do you know that she hardly knows anything? We should not speak about others when we were not sure that what Dr. Naik said yesterday. Sobu Monu says, he's a man of wisdom and knowledge. Dr. Zakir Naik is the most knowledgeable scholar of this era. His personality and knowledge about Islam and other religions is so concrete and authentic that everyone is compelled to listen to him and have put so many people around the globe on Sirat-e-Mustaqim. And we have candid comments from brother Adil Azim. He says, hi Barka, I was a fan of you, but you let me down. You were biased. Were Dr. Zakir Naik and Maulana Madni called just for publicity of the show? They were not given a chance to speak. You want to know about Islam and Muslims from people who are not experts in Islam? If you think that Shah Rukh Khan and Soha Ali Khan represent Muslims of India, then I must insist you are wrong. I would reiterate the hadith. Asim mentioned Hadrat Salma radiallahu ta'ala anha narrate that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, that time will also come upon the people when the truthful will be condemned as liars, and the liars will be regarded as truthful. People with dishonest occupations will be regarded as upright people, while upright people will be condemned as criminals. People will come forth uncalled to give evidence for a fee, and people will take oaths, false, without it being called for. One suggestion, try to know about Islam from Quran and experts. We have Sister Shamma Ghosh saying, your program, We the People, was useless, not worth watching. Dr. Zakir Naik was not given any chance to speak and was deliberately interrupted. Barkha was really not interested in knowing about the Muslim identity. All she was busy was in cutting off Dr. Zakir Naik's comments and not letting him complete his point of view. All the focus was more given to SRK. It was completely a promotional platform, an event built by NDTV to promote his film, My Name is Khan. 90% of the time was given to fools who don't know what Islam is. Before we proceed further, can we take a small break? We'll get back with all of you soon. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome back to our continuing analysis and discussion on TV talk shows. We have interpret comments from Sister Shumaila Siddiqui, who says, the show was totally unfair. Barkha didn't give much chance to Dr. Zakir to speak. It was more for the publicity of My Name is Khan than knowing about the Muslim's identity. Barkha interrupted Dr. Zakir again and again and didn't let him clear his points. When Shah Rukh has himself said that he doesn't know much about Islam, then it is foolish to ask him anything about Islam. It's like you are asking a driver about heart problem. Even in the end, Dr. Zakir was not given chance to make the final statement. Barkha skipped Dr. Zakir and moved towards Soha. Then by themselves raised the issue of a beard and a cap. And then Shah Rukh said that we should not go for how does a Muslim look like, we should go for how does he feel. So if you didn't want to know that how should Muslim look like, then why did you people raise the issue of a beard and a cap? Again, a foolish act. It was the waste of the precious time of Dr. Zakir. That show was useless. We have another sister, Reshma M, who says, I was truly disappointed from this discussion. Having renowned people like Dr. Naik and not being able to bring his points to the audience was disappointing. And when he did speak, he was sadly cut off. He's, after all, a well-learned scholar. But SRK and SOA, and likewise people, were given more than necessary spotlight of the whole talk. To the extent that they look like the show was more based on MNIK and such matter, and what the actor thought of what should be done and what not. The show was a big disaster, and all that they did succeed in was to reconfirm my belief that how much ever people try to be open-minded, they can never accept Muslims with their whole package. Whether it be the skull cap and hijab or just merely verses of the Quran. And yes, I agree with Dr. Naik. There are either practicing Muslims or just plain hypocrites. And as far as hijab goes, all I have to say to everyone who's got a problem, back off. Those were candid comments from some of our websites, especially the NDTV one, as well as Facebook. We begin this continuing session with questions from the audience. Our brothers collected here to Dr. Zakir Naik. Our brothers have seen various talk shows, especially the last one, where Dr. Zakir appeared on NDTV. We would like you, out of your experiences, your practical understanding, if you have any question as far as understanding what talk shows are all about, this is your opportunity to ask Dr. Zakir. Feel free, feel open, do ask. We have Dr. Zakir to answer your questions. Yes, brothers. Yes, brother.
I would like to ask Zakir Bhai whether these news channels aren't for TRPs and for money, and they want the populist opinion which will attract more audiences.
But naturally, not only the news channels, most of the channels, they mainly see to it they get more TRP. And having this view of having more TRP is not wrong. But showing a wrong view to have more TRP, that is wrong. To see to it that you get more viewership on a channel is a good intention. But to show a wrong impression to increase your viewership, that is wrong. So most of them, because as you rightly said, that most of the channels are commercial channels. And the intention to start a channel is to earn money. So many a time, they go against the truth just to see to it that the viewership increases.
Yes, Sunny. Brother. Yes, brother.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa barakatuh.
Before I put forward my question, I would like to make a comment on the program. After watching the program We the People, I realized, as a fan of Dr. Zakir Naik, that what a mess it could make if we asked the opinion of every person, namesake Muslim, about Islam and the Muslims. And it has reaffirmed my faith in the verse of the glorious Quran where it says, if you do not know, ask those who know. That's right. Coming to my question. During the course of the talk, Barkha threw a question to the panelists that most of the Muslims have become image conscious and they have given more concentration on wearing a skull cap, sporting a beard, and the Muslim woman wearing the hijab. And as usual, as Barkha was doing, she avoided your comments on this and she put forward to the other panelists, that was Najib Jung. Brother Najib Jung said that most of the Muslims who wear the skull caps, sport a beard, and wear the niqab are less than 1%, which I strongly disagree with. I would like to have an enlightened answer by Dr. Zakir Naik on the same, because I consider him to be an expert on Islam and comparative religion. Jazakallah.
As far as the comment made by Najib Jung, that less than 1% of the Muslims in India wear this identity. The identity mentioned by Barkhadat, that the men wear a skull cap and a beard, and women wear the burqa. He said less than 1% in India wear this identity. And he also said that in my university, he is the vice chancellor of Jamia Millia, he said that we have 20,000 students, girls and boys, and they aren't dressed up in skull cap or beard or burqa. Less than 1% from them wear this. I haven't been to Jamia Millia. I don't know the percentage, but surely, as far as the Indian Muslims are concerned, I totally disagree with him. In my humble opinion, not that I've done research, but looking people around, traveling throughout India, I feel those people who wear a beard, amongst the non-Muslims will be more than 1%. Leave aside Muslims. Amongst the non-Muslims, in India and throughout the world will be more than 1%. Leave aside Muslims. Muslims, I would say, easily somewhere close to 25 to 30%, minimum. I feel minimum from the Indian Muslims, 25 to 30% of the men would be keeping a beard. As far as the skull cap is concerned, maybe close to 15 to 20% wearing a skull cap. Both put together would surely be more than 10%. Both put together. Both put together, wearing together would be minimum 10%, and either of it, either a beard or a skull cap would be close to 35 to 40%. So I totally disagree with Najib Jung on analysis. And he further said that it's only in India we got this from the Hindus. When we pray, we wear a cap. This I agree. This thing that covering the head while prayer is more common in India, but it's not coming from the Hindus. Covering that is not compulsory, but it's the sunnah of the Prophet. And there are many hadith. You mentioned Sahih Bukhari, volume number 7, in the book of dress, in chapter number 16, where the Prophet covered his head. It's also mentioned in Sahih Bukhari, volume number 7, hadith number 5807, where the Prophet covered his head. And there are various other Sahih hadith. It's a sunnah. There is no hadith showing that ever Prophet went outside with his head uncovered. Though it's not a fard in Islam, it's a sunnah. So it is a part of the Muslim identity. And same with the beard. What I fail to realize that I don't know about Jamia Millia. But I'm sure, though I have not been to Jamia Millia, even there, the students, inshallah, if they are Muslims, would surely be more than 10% would either be having a cap or a beard or both.
Majority students, I think, are non-Muslims in Jamia Millia.
No, but he said Muslims.
University.
When we're talking about Muslims,
No, most students are non-Muslims.
therefore I'm saying amongst the Muslim students. Amongst the Muslim students, I said, I don't know what the percentage is. I haven't been to Jamia Millia. And to put the point across, even Najib Jung himself puts a beard. So when you're asking, I say that at least 35% to 40% have either one of them. And if you call him, whatever type of Muslim he is, he says he's a Muslim. So even he has a beard. Why he has it, I don't know. But he has a beard.
Any further comments, questions from the brother? Yes, brother.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa barakatuh.
Myself Mohammad Noor. My question is that on that show, there was a question asked to Maulana Madni, what about Vande Mataram? And the answer given by him was not satisfied.